Alrighty, this is the Unit 4 study guide. Alright, so what is the general slope-intercept form? That is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. What is the formula for slope? M equals y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So that's when you're given 2 points. What is the general standard form of a line? That one is ax plus by equals c. Remember, for standard, there are no fractions, and also a has to be positive. All right, the next one, what is the general point slope form of a line? So that's y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Point slope is the only formula where you should have parentheses when you're finished with it. What is the slope of a horizontal line? You can think of this 2 ways. You can do slope dude, or you can think of Hoivux. I don't know where to put it. Hoivux, I'll put it over here. Either way, horizontal, so horizontal, you can look over here. This is the slope, so it's 0. If you looked at slope dude, the mouth is horizontal, and these little things right there are the O. Versus for vertical, it's his nose. And then also, if you look at VUX, that U stands for undefined. All right, what do we know about parallel slopes? For slopes of parallel lines, they are the same, so they are equal to each other. Perpendicular lines are opposite reciprocals. The general form of a direct variation is y equals kx. Remember, k is your constant of variation. And then for inverse, it's y equals k over x. If you're asked for just straight up the constant of variation, for direct variations, you divide. Remember, direct divide. So it'd be k equals y over x. Versus for inverse, we multiply. So k equals xy or yx. It doesn't really matter because multiplication is commutative. All right, find the slope of the line that passes through the points. I'm given 2 points, so I start with my formula, my slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And now I just plug in my points. So I've got -4 minus a -3 over 3 minus 5. 2 negatives is a positive. -4 plus 3 is -1. 3 minus 5 is -2. Negative and a negative is a positive. So my slope is a positive 1/2. Does the point -3, 4 lie on the line? All right, so all you have to do is this is your x value, and this is your y value. So I just plug in. So y is equal to 4 equals 2. My x is equal to -3 plus 10. And now I simplify. Over here I've got 4. 2 times -3 is -6. And -6 plus 10 is 4. 4 does equal 4, so yes, it does lie on there. Another way, you can grab your calculator. It's y equals 2x plus 10. So I can put it into the y equals button. Go to y equals, clear out everything in there. 2x plus 10. And then now I can look at my table by going to second graph. And then they were asking me about, what point was it? -3, 4. So I can go to -3, and sure enough, -3, 4 is in my table. So yes, it does lie on that graph. Okay, so either one is fine. Do both, even better. All right, the difference between that question and the next question is this one says, is it a solution? Remember, the solution is the x-intercept. Just the x-intercept. Remember, she's the diva. So if we want to find intercepts for anything, so intercepts we always put into standard form. So I need to do that by subtracting 2x on both sides. And I have negative 2x plus y equals positive 10. Now I can break it up. This is negative 2x equals 10 and y equals 10. I'm only worried about the x because that's the x-intercept. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. X equals negative 5. And that is not the same point as that. So no, that is not the solution. All right, find the x-intercept of the line whose equation. So same thing. If you see intercept, you need to put it in standard, which is ax plus by equals c. So let's go ahead and add 2 on both sides. 3y equals 4x. 10 plus 2 is a positive 12. And then now I need to subtract 4x on both sides. Negative 4x plus 3y equals 12. It honestly doesn't matter, but just for habit, let's go ahead and put it completely into standard. So remember, standard, you cannot have fractions and a has to be positive. Right now, a is negative, so all I have to do is multiply everything by negative 1, which is the same as just changing all the signs. So this is now 4x minus 3y equals negative 12. Okay, so now they just want the x-intercept. So I go ahead and I break it up. This is 4x equals negative 12. Negative 3y equals negative 12. And I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So x equals negative 3. So they want the x-intercept. Remember, intercepts are points. So this is the point, negative 3, 0. All right. If y varies directly, if you see directly, immediately you should write the direct variation equation. So y equals kx. Now they say find the constant of variation and the equation that relates the two variables. So if y equals negative 4, I'm going to plug in, and x equals negative 12, I find k by dividing both sides by negative 12, giving me k equals negative is a positive, 4 divided by 12 is 1/3. So now I take the fact that I know my k is 1/3 and I plug it back in up there. So y equals 1/3 x. All right, write an equation of the line in slope-intercept form. All right, so slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And these are honestly pretty straightforward. They tell you so m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. So they just gave us all the information we need, so we just plug in. So y equals, the slope is negative 5, x, the y-intercept is a positive 7. Over here, y equals, the slope is 10, and then x, the y-intercept is a negative 3, so just minus 3. All right, what is the slope of the line? Y equals, da, da, da. So I'm thinking y equals mx plus b, okay? But you don't even have to do that. If you think Hoy-Vux, this is a y equals, and remember that middle is always your slope. So that is a 0 slope. You could also think, if you want to put it in y equals mx plus b, y equals 0x plus a negative 2. So that's 0, right? But Hoy-Vux is just the most straightforward way. All right, which equation represents the line shown? Okay, remember, you always, when you're graphing, want to put it in y equals mx plus b. Okay, the first point we're always going to take is this y-intercept, the b. So I go here, boom. So that is at negative 1. So I'm going to go ahead and just plug in negative 1. Go ahead and write your y equals and your x. Slope is rise over run. Before I do anything, I'm skiing down the hill, skiing down the mountain, so I know my slope is going to be negative. Okay, just get it out of the way. It's negative. All right, so now I have to find another point where it perfectly intersects. And to me, that one looks good. You can honestly do this one too if you wanted to, but that one, the top left one, just came out to me. All right, so from here to here, so I fall 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why it's negative, is because I fell 4. And then I go to the right, 1, 2, 3. So my slope is negative 4/3. So now I look at my equations. Sure enough, it's J. What is the equation of a line with a slope of -1 and a y-intercept of 3? Y equals mx plus b. Y equals, my slope is -1, and my intercept is 3, so plus 3. Now remember, we don't really write that 1. It's just there. We know it's there. It's insinuated. So this is really just y equals -x plus 3, which is D for delicious. All right, which equation represents a line? All right, here we go again. So y equals mx plus b. The first point I take is the b, which is here. Okay, and that looks at like -5. So I go ahead and write my -5. Y equals, so now I need to find my slope, which is rise over run. So another point that it perfectly goes through looks like that to me. All right, so I'm going up the mountain. Oh my goodness, everything is so beautiful. So I know it's going to be a positive slope. So honestly, I can already get rid of these two, right? So I rise 1, 2, 3, 4. I rise 4. I run to the right 1, 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I can plug in right there. So y equals 2x minus 5. All right, Sam rents a bike for $12 plus 75 cents per hour. Write an equation to model the cost of the bike rental. All right, so $12 is what he immediately puts down. It's not going to change anything, right? He's got to give the $12. So immediately $12 is there. But then it says plus 75 cents per hour. So I don't know how many hours he's going to be renting. So that's my variable. That's my X, my M, and I guess in this case they used M. And then 75 cents is 0.75, right? If you said I have $1.75, you would write it like that. You wouldn't say 175. That's $175. So this is C equals 0.75 M plus 12. What's that one? B. All right. What is the slope of a line parallel? All right, so we know parallel slopes are the same, but I have to first change this into y equals mx plus b before I can do anything. It's the only way I can find what slope is. So I do that by subtracting 8x, -2y equals -8x plus 14. Divide both sides by -2. Y equals, a negative and a negative is a positive. 8 divided by 2 is 4x. 14 divided by -2 is -7. So this is just this equation. These are the same equation. But why I did that is because now I know that the slope of this line is 4. And since they're parallel, they have the same slope, which means any line parallel to that line has a slope of 4. All right, what is the equation of the line that passes through the point and has a slope? You have a point, you have slope, you need to start with point slope. So y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. And I plug in my information. So y minus a -1 equals 1, x minus a -2. These now are both positives. It looks like, looking at my answer choices, they want it in y equals mx plus b. So I have to distribute. 1 times x is x. 1 times 2 is a positive 2. And now I subtract 1 on both sides. So y equals x. 2 minus 1 is a positive 1. So y equals x plus 1. Okay, so last one for this video. What is the slope of a line? Perpendicular means opposite reciprocals. Okay, so if the slope of this line is 1/5, because it's in y equals mx plus b, opposite of a positive is a negative, and then the reciprocal of 1/5 is just 5. So that's going to be f. Alrighty?